Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are going to be looking at Game 5 between the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. It looked like a situation where Dallas might have had Colorado in a chokehold situation. They won both games in Colorado. A really good win for them in Game 4 and left you concerned about, with all the off-ice stuff going on in Colorado, that if this was going to be a distraction, could this carry over into Game 5? And heading back to Dallas, it looked like the Stars had all the momentum until the big boy showed up for the Colorado Avalanche and said, we are going to play at least one more game in this series, as they win 5-3 over the Dallas Stars. So the last time we talked, we were, I think, 3 games into the series, 2 games into the series. I think it was 2. I think we talked after Game 2. So now a couple more games have gone by, and I have to say, the Dallas Stars are really impressing me. Now, Colorado is for a different reason, and we'll get to them. But the Dallas Stars are really interesting right now because the Dallas Stars have continued to score goals throughout this series against a Colorado team that does love to score goals. And now in Game 5, we saw, with their back against the wall, what Colorado is capable of. And if you chopped off the top of the score, right, you chopped off the, who was leading the series and things like that, and who was in an elimination game, you would assume that Colorado was in the elimination situation. They were very desperate, and not in a bad way. They were playing like they were playing for their playoff lives. And that's a good thing. That's what you want to see. There's been teams so far this playoffs that you really couldn't tell. They were playing like it was a normal game, and then they get eliminated, and that's it. Your season's over. Not the case for Colorado. A really good performance for them, and a really good bounce-back game after what was a difficult series for them at home. So maybe the best thing for them was going to Dallas and kind of being the road team, avoiding the distractions, and it worked out. Now, early on in this game, it was all Dallas. Joe Pavelski got the first goal of the game from Duchesne and Robertson. I'm shocked that that's Pavelski's first goal of the playoffs, but there you go. He's on the board. That was the theme for tonight's game. We'll talk about that in a second. Arturi Lehkonen on the power play, his 6th of the playoffs from McKinnon. That was a dagger. That was a tough goal to give up late in the first period. And, that ended up being a pretty big goal to kind of change the momentum, but we'll get there. Miro, again, getting on the board, his 5th of the playoffs on the power play, so that's back-to-back power play goals. And, of course, to end the second period, we talk about those important goals at the end of the second period. That is once again the case here in this game. Both of the top defensemen for their teams, Heiskanen and Makar, another power play goal in this game, and to head to the locker room after 2, it is 2 apiece. And like I said, I talk about this a lot, but a lot of games where it's 2-1 or 1-0 or 3-2, and the team that's trailing ties the game late in the period, that is a critical goal. Because if you think about it, really that's the difference between maybe Dallas being up 3-1 and Colorado tying the game at 2. That is a critical goal, and Dallas, really, that one hurt. But that was a big goal by Cale Makar. And again, I know before the game during warm-ups, they were kind of talking about like, oh, Cale Makar doesn't have a point in the last 2 games. And you're like, oh, man, so he's going to score. That's exactly what he did. So now we get to the third period. This is where the action really picks up. Casey Middlestat gets on the board, his 3rd of the playoffs. Nice to see him. He's been struggling this year in the playoffs, so it's good to see him score. Cale Makar again. Logan Stankoven makes it a 1-goal game. But then, obviously, Nathan McKinnon with the kind of the dagger in this one. That's only his 4th goal of the playoffs, but it ends up being the insurance marker. Another assist here. A really good game from Arturi Lehkonen. Cale Makar with a 2-goal game. A really solid game overall for the Colorado Avalanche. And, Dallas had their opportunities to win this game. Special teams was an issue. They gave up 2 power play goals in this game. A really undisciplined penalty from Chris Tanev. He's right after, you could tell he's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And Mikko Rantanen obviously played it up a little bit, but that's the playoffs. Welcome to the new NHL. That's how it works. And, you could be mad at Rantanen for kind of, embellishing it and this and that, but there was no need for Tanev to do that in the first place. So Tanev goes off, and that ended up being a really big penalty in the game as well. So it's one of those things where Dallas is going to look back on this and say, listen, We need to stay out of the penalty box. We played a pretty solid game. I would say this is definitely Jake Ottinger's worst game of this series, and that's okay. Like, it happens. You're going to have off nights. He had off nights in the first round in their first round series against Vegas, so it's not necessarily the biggest deal in the world. Jake Ottinger's got to come back. He needs a bounce back game in Game 6, and we'll forget about this and like it never happened if they win the game, right? So, they always say the most difficult game to win in the playoffs is the fourth game, and Dallas is dealing with that right now. And they're not the only ones. Look at Carolina and the Rangers series, right? The Rangers now have dropped 2 in a row. Same thing for Boston and Florida. The Panthers are making things a little bit, the Bruins are making things interesting in that series. So it's one of those things, like, it's not easy to close out a series. You're going to play a team that's playing as desperate as possible. Colorado, give them credit, scoring on the power play, getting some big goals from the big boys like McCarr and McKinnon. You need those guys getting on the board. You're also seeing the depth scoring. That's critical for them. And Drouin's back in the lineup. Hopefully he starts getting things going. Hopefully before they get eliminated, if they get eliminated, he's going to have some opportunities in this series. Georgiev was back in between the pipes for this one. I don't think that really played much of a difference. He played well enough to win the game, so that's good. Maybe he'll probably start Game 6, I would assume, at this point. And Tyler Seguin is expected to be out for Dallas, so that means we'll probably see Ty Dellandrea come back into the lineup for Dallas. Not a big deal. We also saw them call up Maverick Bourque. So it should be an interesting Game 6. We're going to see some line shuffling for the Dallas Stars, kind of by force because of the Seguin situation. We'll see what happens there. Like I said, this is a really good series. I'm expecting it to be another good Game 6. I'm just really, I'm trying to enjoy seeing some of the, I would say two of the top 5 defensemen in the National Hockey League are playing for either side in this series, in Miro Heiskanen and Cale Makar. We both saw them get on the board in tonight's game, or in last night's game. I'm really excited to see just those guys playing. They're not really matching up against each other necessarily because they're both defensemen, but just watching them on the ice, it's really, we're so gifted right now in this series watching these two guys. And then obviously looking at the emergence of guys like Wyatt Johnston on Dallas and Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen on the Avalanche. It's just incredible. These are two really good hockey teams, very evenly matched. And I'm happy this series is at least going another game. I still want Dallas to win this series. I still have them winning the Stanley Cup, so we'll see if they're able to do that. But give credit where it's due to Colorado. Like I said, really impressive game for them, and this is what we expect from the Colorado Avalanche. And we'll see, heading back home to Denver for Game 6. Maybe they're able to win Game 6, and like the story goes, right? You never know what happens in a Game 7, and I think Colorado is going to do everything in their power, pushing the play forward, defense, the defensemen being very aggressive, pushing the play forward, really attacking that Dallas Stars defense, being quick with transitions. That's what won them this game. They're going to have to do more of that in Game 6 if they want a chance in this series, and maybe sending it to Game 7 back down in Dallas. Guys, that's going to do it for today. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you again next time.